You worked hard to book the listing appointment. You prospected, you followed up, you handled objections. Now you've got a shot, one shot to win the listing. And most agents blow it. They show up totally unprepared and they talk too much about themselves. They send the wrong information ahead of time. This video is about what to actually do once the seller says, yeah, come over. A listing appointment isn't just a checklist. It's a performance under pressure. You've got 30 minutes to earn their trust, prove your value, and close the deal, all while staying calm, sharp, and confident. No pressure, right? Whether you're a brand new agent or you are an experienced agent, this is how you turn a listing appointment into a signed listing agreement. Before you ever walk through the door, the appointment has already started. Most agents don't realize this, and it costs them listings that should have been theirs. By the time you set an appointment, you've already done so much work. You made calls, you handled objections, you set an appointment, you pre-qualified the appointment. Now what? What's next? Step one. The first thing you're going to do is send the seller a pre-listing package. Keep it simple and send it electronically. Do not deliver it in person. It's a waste of time. You want to be as efficient as possible and set same-day appointments whenever you can. That's a huge priority. Never set an appointment for tomorrow that you can go on today, because the longer it takes for you to get there, the less chance you have of taking the listing. So use an electronic pre-listing package. Add some brief information about you and your company. If you're brand new, highlight what is unique about your company. If you have a strong track record, include it, but keep it brief. Condense it to a single page if possible. You're also going to send out a brief outline of your marketing plan. Also, one page tops. Focus on what you do differently from other agents to get their home sold. That is what makes you stand out. Your pre-listing package will also include a listing agreement completely filled out except for the price and commission. This is very important. You'll fill that in at the appointment. If you include the price or commission in the agreement and you send it to them ahead of time, you'll get a lot of appointments canceled just because they don't like what they see. They don't know you yet. They have no idea what you're going to do for them, and they have no reason to trust you. So no price and no commission on the listing agreement. Remember that you are just one of dozens of agents who are calling. If you look and sound like every other agent, they'll treat you like every other agent. Replaceable. And that's the part most agents forget. You're not walking in with a blank slate. You're walking into a competition, and sellers are comparing you to every other agent they've talked to. Some with flashier branding, some with more experience, some who promised a higher price and a lower commission. If you don't stand out, you blend in. If you blend in, you lose. This isn't just a meeting, it's a performance test that is worth thousands of dollars to you. If you pass it, the listing is yours. This is where you prove you're not just another agent. You're the one who can actually get their home sold quickly and for the most money possible. And without meeting you and getting to know the benefit that you bring to them in the transaction, they're just looking at the price and commission and saying, I don't like that. Next. What else should you include in the pre-listing package? You can include a very brief introduction. Something like this. It was a pleasure speaking with you today. Attached is some information for our upcoming meeting. I look forward to seeing you today at 4 p.m. As I mentioned earlier, attach your track record, your company track record, a brief overview of your marketing plan, 3 to 4 client testimonials if you have them, and the listing agreement. Here's an important tip. If you're doing a listing presentation online, 5 minutes before the appointment, send out the listing agreement for electronic signature and the market analysis. They need to have that in front of them so you can get their signature at the end of the presentation. There's no magic button in this business, but if you follow a proven process, you instantly separate yourself from all these other agents who just wing it and wonder why they never take listings. Do this right, and you become the agent sellers choose instead of chasing deals and getting discouraged. If you want help expediting the process, I can show you how. Check the links in the description. Step 2, you have to prepare a CMA or comparative market analysis. How do you do that? Go in your MLS and do a search for properties in the same area, in the same neighborhood, in the same subdivision. You want to find 4 active listings and 4 recent sales in the last 6 months that compare well to the property you're going to list. Pro tip here, stick to 4 and 4. Using too many comparables will confuse the client. And when people are confused, they don't make decisions. Now, you want to be careful when selecting the 4 actives and 4 closed sales, making sure they make sense. Square footage needs to be similar. The number of bedrooms and baths needs to be similar. The year built. Sometimes it's not easy to find similar comparables. So what do you do in that case? Look for the most similar homes you can find, even if they're in nearby area. When you do this, you have to think like an appraiser. How would an appraiser look at it? Let's say one of the sold comps has an extra bedroom or an extra 300 square feet or a pool, and the listing appointment you're going on doesn't. What do? You make adjustments. You add or subtract to the price what those features are worth so that you can align these properties. That is what appraisers do, and that's how you need to prepare your CMAs. Study a few appraisals carefully so you can clearly understand how to do this properly. Now, in case you didn't know, 99% of homeowners want more money for their house than the house is worth. That's just human nature. They think their house is special. They paid a certain amount of money. They put a certain amount of money into it. They're looking online and it says it's worth more. Whatever the reason, it doesn't matter. The point is, a well-prepared market analysis is critical in helping the seller understand the price. Because if it doesn't make sense, the seller's going to say, well, this house is not like mine, and it may not be, but you need to be able to explain how the adjustments are made and why That's important. Ultimately, because if the property is overpriced, it won't sell. Step 3, first impressions. We all know first impressions are critical. You need to dress sharp and look professional. You don't need a big fancy wardrobe. I had one suit that I wore to all of my listing appointments, and I looked and felt great in it. So even if you just have one suit, one outfit that you're going to wear to every listing appointment for a while, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. When you look good, you feel confident. And that's exactly how you want to show up for your appointments. All of the paperwork you're bringing should be organized in a folder. You don't want to have stuff flying around and not knowing what's what. You want to be prepared, really, really well prepared. They're sizing you up from the minute you step out of your car. So shoulders back, smile on your face as you're walking to the front door. When they open the door, introduce yourself and give a firm handshake. Once you're in the house, the first thing you're going to do is ask the seller to show you around the property. Allowing the seller to walk you through the house is a great opportunity to build rapport with them. Ask questions about their property, the move, and their motivation. This is an opportunity for you to engage with them. Once you settle at the kitchen table and before you even start your presentation, place the listing agreement on the table with a pen right on top. This is a paper listing agreement that you brought with you, and it should be completely filled out except for the price and commission. Just like the one you included in the pre-listing package, but in paper form. You don't say a word. You just put it on top of the table. They see it. They know it's there, and so do you. It's a subliminal close. But it only works if you've done everything right leading up to this moment. At the end of the appointment, once you agree on a price, you're going to pick up the pen, write the price down, and ask them to sign it. Make sure you maintain high energy throughout your entire presentation. This is absolutely critical. Otherwise, you're going to put people to sleep. They lose interest and they tune out. You need to keep them engaged. They need to listen. Here's why this is important. People make decisions when they're excited about the future. They're going to make a decision to grab that pen and sign the listing agreement with you today because they're excited about the fact that you can sell their home for the highest price in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassle. This only works if you genuinely believe it and you are excited to get it done for them. Unless you were a successful Hollywood actor or actress before you became a real estate agent, it's not easy to achieve this as a new agent. And that's why I am emphasizing how important this is. You have to use all of your energy and mental power to stay focused and deliver a presentation that sweeps them off their feet. You need to practice your listing presentation every day. That's the only way to get better. If you're not practicing, if you're not preparing, you're gambling thousands of dollars in commissions that you're not gonna get. Top agents don't wing it. They walk in with a plan and they walk out with signed agreements. You get one shot at a first impression, one chance to prove that you are the right agent. Practice is what turns you from someone hoping to get the listing into someone who knows they will get it. Here's how I did it. I've practiced and practiced my presentation in front of a mirror. I filmed myself over and over again. I role played with other agents and even family members, because a lot of times we have certain mannerisms, body language, behaviors, gestures that we're unaware of, that distract or even negate what we're saying. In other words, the audio and the video don't match, and that is weird. And when you get weird, the client gets weird, and weird won't get signed listings. All that trouble for nothing. So I strongly encourage you to practice. When I first watched myself doing a presentation, my thought was, oh my gosh, that was so bad. Now I know, while I'm not getting listings, I wouldn't even list with myself. And that was a huge opportunity right there that I used to learn and improve. Step 4. Okay, so you settled at the kitchen table and you are ready to start your presentation. Being completely clear about the seller's motivation is extremely important, because their motivation is your leverage when discussing the price later. That's why it's important to confirm it. Here's how you do it. Mr. Seller, when we spoke over the phone, I know you mentioned that you're moving to Dallas and you'd like to be there in the next 2 to 3 months because you have a job transfer, and it's important for you to make sure that you sell this home. And obviously, for the most money possible, right? And it sounds to me, based on our conversation, that you would like to sell it as quickly as possible too, right? You just confirmed their motivation. You are showing them that you understand their goal, why it's important to them, and that you are on the same page. Then the next thing you're going to do is briefly tell them about your company and your experience. Now, this needs to be brief, and everything you say needs to relate back to how it's going to help them sell their home quickly and for the most money possible. If they don't see how what you're saying is going to help them get what they want, you shouldn't say it. I know from experience. I used to do it myself. I learned that most real estate agents spend way too much time talking about their company, their certifications, their designations, whatever. Don't get me wrong. It's perfectly okay to mention your credentials and your track record. But I want you to remember this. Sellers don't care how much you know. They don't care about the experience you have, what your track record is, all the designations you have, and how great your company is. The only thing they care about is, how is all of this going to help me sell my home quickly and for top market price? So always make sure that when you mention your track record and credentials, you tie into what's in it for them. Pause this video right now and write down what's in it for them so you never forget this. Because if they don't see what's in it for them, they won't list with you. It's that simple. To make sure that doesn't happen, you have to stand out. So here's step 5. Are you like every other agent? What is it about you that separates you from everyone else out there? Here's the answer. You are an active and aggressive agent. And here's what that means. 99% of agents, they all do the same things. After they take a listing, they put the listing in the MLS. They hire a professional photographer. They do a virtual tour. They may do some open houses and whatever other stuff they all do. And then They sit around for 6 months hoping and praying that somehow the house will sell. You, on the other hand, are an active and aggressive agent because you don't sit around hoping and praying. You look for buyers and sellers every day. This maximizes the exposure of their home, which is required to sell it quickly and for the most money possible. Use this script. You and I both know there is a buyer for your house out there, and my job is to go find them. That's what you would expect an agent to do for you, isn't it? If they don't think, wow, that's the kind of agent I'm looking for, they've been sleeping through your presentation, and that's on you. Step 6, the CMA and price conversation. When it's time to talk about price, don't hesitate. You're not asking for permission. You're leading, because sellers don't want someone who agrees with them. They want a knowledgeable professional who can sell their house. And that starts with you guiding the entire conversation confidently, including the price. Now is the moment when you're going to walk them through the market analysis that you prepared. You're going to go through each of the comparables slowly and help them understand how the homes you selected compare to their property. I can't stress enough the importance of accuracy of this information. They're entering a competition. They're putting their house on the market, and buyers have options. Your job when discussing price is not to tell them what the price should be. Your job is to help them understand what the price has to be in order to get their house sold. How do you do that? Think of yourself as, I'm here to share this information with the seller in a way that causes them to come to the same conclusion that I came to in regards to the price. And your opinion of the price is based on what has recently sold, what's available for sale, and the current market conditions. Remember, every homeowner wants more money for the house than the house is worth. That's just the way it is. And if you tell them that the price they want is too high, they're going to argue about it and defend their opinion. They'll try to convince you of the price they want. What you need to do is show them data, which is the evidence as to why it needs to be lower. Pointing to the evidence is how you help them see what it is you see. Again, the evidence is what's available for sale, what has recently sold, and market conditions. The only way to go over this smoothly is if you pre-qualified the appointment and you've done an amazing presentation up to this point. If you do everything correctly, they will be ready to sign the listing agreement, which you already have right in front of you, remember? You left it there before you started this whole thing. So at this point, you've done a great job. You build trust, you handle objections, and discuss the price. Now it's time to close for the signature. Go with something like this. Mr. Seller, let's go ahead and price your property at $599,000, and you're writing it in the agreement so we can get your home sold. I just need your signature right here. Hand them the pen, point to the signature line, and that's it. No hesitation, no weirdness. Leaders, close. This process works. It's repeatable. And once you dial it in, it becomes your unfair advantage. So go practice, get sharper, and next time the seller opens the door, you walk in to show them who's boss. Check the links in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.